I remember when I was grade 9, is the last year of the intermediate school in my country. I was like very busy with preparing for exams, studying a lot, and it was a very hot summer day where I had a very bad painful when I go to the washroom frequently, like I need to pee, but I don't pee anything, or just few very hot burning drops that came out, and I ended up that I did not drink enough water for maybe few days with the hot weather and being busy with studying and preparing for the finals, the final exams. I developed an infection in my urethra, and I was recommended to drink plenty of water and using antibiotics. Luckily it was resolved within 2 days, and since then I remember very well, like I had this kind of inflammation happen frequently, but when I started feeling burn when I go to pee, I just go and drink a lot of water on that day and it resolved so quickly, but I still have some pain when I pee, and day by day I found it even is difficult to hold for long my pee, and I did not know why exactly, but at that time with that small girl and very young age, I suppose it was because I got one inflammation or infection in my urethra, and that's why it happened frequently to the point that I cannot hold my pee, and when just came to the point I need to pee, I have to rush, otherwise I will have an accident. And I felt always shy to talk about it, to tell my parents, to tell my friends, to tell my sisters, and I kept this kind of secret just for myself. I just get upset, discomfort, and cry sometimes when the accidents happen, but I never felt brave enough to talk about it. And I don't know why I assumed that's kind of normal thing, and I just had to deal with it until I got married and I got pregnant, and I ended up I cannot hold my pee at all. And one of the weird things happened that I don't feel I need to the washroom, and suddenly an urgent feeling to pee comes if I don't have a near few steps by a washroom, I just have an accident. I gave my birth. I hoped it will get better, but it didn't go any better. Then after my second pregnancy, it ended even to be a worse situation, and I felt kind of a bulge coming in the baby birth area before birth, and I was very scared that my baby's going to drop. I saw my gynecologist. She told me that's kind of normal. Sometimes it happens of the pressure with multiple births, but be careful because you just had an accident 1 month ago. You fell on your belly and you had a tear in your abdominal wall muscles, and that led to an umbilical hernia. Perhaps there were some damage happen in your pelvic floor muscles, more than the damage may happen during pregnancy, and you're still carrying baby for 2-3 months more, so you need to be careful. I was very not comfortable in my body, in my new situation. Like having a pee, it was like a big nightmare. After I gave my second baby birth, like 6 to 7 weeks, I saw my gynecologist for the postpartum appointment. She checked and she told me everything normal. I told her, but look, when I stand, there's something bulging there. I don't know what is it, and something very not comfortable. I can feel it when I clean myself after using the washroom. And she told me, let me check again. And when she checked me and she told me, you know what, do you have a difficulty to use the washroom? I told her no, but I just noticed that when I go to the washroom, I take a little bit longer to process the whole thing, including peeing and pooping. I'm sorry I need to say that, but That's really what happened. And then she told me, are you constipated? You know, the comprehension of constipation to me, it was like a very big, bad poop and dry that you cannot get it out of your body unless if you have to force too much and you have some blood maybe come out with your poop. But it ended up constipated. It's not necessary to be that. It just have longer time and more frequent going to the washroom, feeling to poop, but you don't really empty it at all of it. And maybe sometimes you feel you emptied it, but actually you did not empty it. And you need to go again and again. And sometimes you feel you have a lot, but you ended up with nothing. The constipation also can be not only the poop being constipated, but also gas that are not released. And you have pain, and sometimes you feel like you are going to the washroom, but actually you don't poop, it's more releasing gas. Later, when the gynecologist started asking more questions, it ended up that the constipation is not the thing I thought, and the constipated can be longer to process to release your bowel movements with your feast. Not only that, but also that I had difficulty to hold my pee. And when I pee, not all my pee go out at once, because for some reason there were a dilation happen in my urethra. I developed something called cystocele, where the part of the pee is trapped somewhere in the canal, and that's why when I pee, after sitting a little bit, more pee comes, even if I don't feel it. Is not coming from the bladder necessarily. It can be trapped between the bladder and the opening. And a similar thing happened to the bowel, where I had some dilation and the muscles are not standing enough to hold the pelvic floor organs straight. So that's why it's difficult to release gas and to poop, which is called rectocele. And when my gynecologist told me about these terminologies, she told me I have to see a physiotherapist that's specific to this area to retrain myself how to pee and poop properly, and if it's possible to rescue my situation and reverse it if it's possible, because especially like I was in grade 1 to 2 for my rectocele and grade 2 to 3 for cystocele. And my gynecologist did not only recommend me to see a physiotherapist, she enhanced me to see it as soon as possible, because the earliest I see a physiotherapist and get a better diagnosis by a specialist for that area. When I know about that, I searched a lot, and I wanted not only to know from a biological view or medical articles what are the causes, how the diagnosis is done, and what are the treatment options, and what is the prognosis of the situation if it's go under treatment or remain untreated. But also I wanted to hear from other women if they have experienced such a thing, and since when they started having it. Honestly, the awareness about this, especially I am a scientist and I have done masters in physiology and developmental biology, and I have done PhD in medical school in cell biology, and I have done a lot of medicine and human biology coursework in my undergrad and postgrad studies. But it never came to my mind that I would be in such a situation. And even the field I did my PhD, it's about how elastic fibers are holding together, and when the tear happen in them that cause organ prolapse. But I was very busy about life, studies, school, and I always thought that I'm strong enough to carry things and run and jog and do workout, even if I am pregnant, even if I just gave birth. And it was later, after giving my second birth and months, years even after my first pregnancy, I realized that after I gave my first child birth, I did not give my body time to heal, and that's why I got worse and worse, and I actually never became better in terms of holding my pee and being in control of my pee, and I had more frequent accident, the time passing, I never really bothered to look what is really going on. I assumed it's normal, or this is just my body, and everybody is every person body is special, and we are different in many things, and maybe I'm different in terms of holding my pee. I never went to look at myself that no, there is a medical condition here, and I have to look for a doctor to see me and diagnose it and try to treat it. I don't know what was in my brain, but I really never rested. I never relaxed. And after I gave my first birth, I just started walking. That moment I left the hospital, and even when my child was just 3 days old, I had preeclampsia, and I left for 1 hour or 2 hours to a conference trying to give a talk, which ended up I couldn't give it properly, and I went back to the hospital. Like, it was really crazy. I don't know what was in my mind.
So basically, I was in a complete ignorance to the situation.
After the second pregnancy, like, ding, there was something wrong going on here, and I was very lucky with my gynecologist on the second pregnancy, which was really helpful, open for discussions, even if she couldn't notice something, because she quickly checked me, and then I had to tell her that I had bulge. She gave the chance to recheck again, which is so important, to have an open discussion with your doctor or a specialist for feminine health. So I wanted to tell my story, because if somebody, like, I don't know why I always exempted myself having such a prolapse, and I don't know why I did not look for my health and feminine health, especially about my pee, about my all pelvic floor muscles and organs, and how I can support my body before getting pregnant and after having my first child. And my recommendation here to every woman: you don't need to be married, you don't need to have a sexual activity, you don't need to get pregnant to see a specialist to check on your pelvic floor muscles. If you have a problem that you cannot pee, or you have difficulty holding your pee, or incontinent, or if you have some accidents happen with your bowel movement or your pee, or you feel some bulge, or if you are not comfortable, I think, regarding, or there is a pain in your hip and pubic bones and all that area, it's really good idea that you see a doctor and talk about it. Never ignore it as I did. And the more I learn about my health and the pelvic floor muscle and how I can support my pelvic floor area, the more I realized that how important it was to see. From when I was just in grade 9, I could just tell my parent or tell my mother that I have a problem and see a doctor, even if, like, I really could just talk and resolve this problem very long ago. But I kept ignoring it. I kept like feeling it should be normal, or maybe this is me, my body, but it was not supposed to be this way. And I could just, with a few physiotherapy sessions, I could help myself to resolve it, and even there is a high chance to reverse it at a very early stage in my life and be aware more about how to manage my pelvic floor health. I really recommend every woman, every girl, either you are in your teenage, even if you are at very late stage of your life, to check always in your pelvic floor muscle and see a physiotherapist or a specialist to check on it. If everything is fine, it would be great. If not, at least once a year or once every 2 years, if as your therapist or the health practitioner that would recommend you to do. Now it has been 2 years to start the treatment, and being very aware about how I carry things, how heavy I should carry things. Especially, as I mentioned, I developed umbilical hernia, I developed a cystocele, a rectocele. During my second pregnancy, the pelvic floor muscle health, it wasn't that great, and how I now feel awake more confident, how I could really feel I am like one piece together again. I know when I have to go to the washroom, when I don't have to go, how I sit properly to use the washroom. So many things I cannot cover all in this video, but what I want to highlight here, that it's really important to learn about the pelvic floor muscles and how the organs are held together, and when a prolapse happens, which organs are affected, what are the different type of pelvic organ prolapse, and how can you strengthen your abdominal muscle wall and your pelvic floor muscles using Kegels, using some certain type of squats, and avoid other different type of squats, how even Kegels work, and how you work out properly until you heal, and then how you gradually go to different type of workouts, because it's either man or woman, because these type of prolapse may happen to both genders. Or now I would like to say what are the things that really helped me to heal, and although I'm not 100% healed yet and recovered from the pelvic floor prolapse I had developed, including the rectocele and cystocele, and how I could maintain my umbilical hernia. But I just want you to know that really going to a physiotherapist, seeing my physiotherapist as it was planned from the program that we got through it, to even to train me how to exercise properly, to do Kegels properly, how to do certain exercises that support my abdominal muscle wall and can maintain my hernia, to strengthen my abdominal muscle wall without causing more damage on the damage I had. Like, it's really, I cannot explain how important is that, and how I became more confident about my body and how I can work out properly following the plan. You just need to figure out in your area and according to your health insurance what are the best options available. Recently in my life, I started being aware how physiotherapy and massage therapy are really important for our muscles, for our mental wellness, for our health overall. The second thing is about the awareness of the type of workouts you can do to strengthen your and support your abdominal and pelvic floor, how you can avoid some types of exercises or gradually transform your type of workouts that without causing a damage on your body. I already know how to carry things and heavy loads in a healthy way, but I wasn't really aware about how much load I can carry by my own, and there are a lot of times I can avoid carrying heavy things even if it's in a healthy recommended way without using the whole load on my body, than using just a cart or any method that can not apply a lot of forces on my abdominal and pelvic floor muscles. That's so important to be aware about. How even when you carry your child, you need to make sure that you carry your child in the appropriate way and not too frequent for your body. Like, you want really to have a strong body building in your pelvic floor that you can continue and maintain your life. At some point I felt insecure about my body, like when I carry anything or move anything, I felt like almost my intestines are moving out of my abdominal muscle wall through the hernia hole, or I felt maybe I may drop some pee even if I don't feel that I need to go to the washroom, or there's something not comfortable, or I felt like the bulge came out again because I forced to carry something. So it's really important to be aware about your body and how you feel and how you properly move yourself around. The history of being pregnant or impregnant, or you have been through a sexual trauma or being abused sexually, it's really important to consider that you have to check on your muscles, and if you have difficulty to use the washroom, or if you feel there is something not normal or not usual around your pelvic floor muscles and peeing and pooping. So it's important to see a doctor and see a specialist and talk about it, not just hide it and let it go, which will most likely will not help the situation to improve it or resolve it if there is a problem. If you have a hormonal related situation that make your muscles are relaxed, like for example during breastfeeding or during the period, during the postpartum time, or when you are not feeling well or tired or sick, that you avoid a lot of heavy activities, especially the things that include carrying heavy loads or running or jumping, because this will worsen the situation if they were not done wisely and mindfully. Fiber intakes helped me so much, especially for direct to seal, until to the point I never felt hard again to go to the washroom and going too frequent to the washroom to do one bowel movement that never finished for one day and empty my bowels in a very happy way. And actually I increased my fiber intake without even the need to take fiber supplements. If you know that you are not eating enough fibers in your food, then perhaps you need to take fiber supplements. But for me, I used to eat a lot of sweet potato and regular potatoes with their peels, and I eat a lot of fruit and veggies with their peels on, whole grains, and I eat a lot of things I'm sure that they contain a lot of fibers, which really helps so much to make me feel full in terms of nutrition, and feel I'm eating more healthy. But also it helps so much on the washroom, and instead of going multiple times, I just go one time and I'm happy and I feel completely empty without the need to do it again over and over. And most like every day I spend like a big portion of the day being in the washroom. Also the way how I sit in the washroom, of course, everybody has different type of washrooms, depend on the country, depend on the culture, depend on your own house and the height of your toilet. But there is a certain position that you can use when you are in the washroom to empty your bowel better. There is one video, I put the link of it in the first comment. It's not for me, it's not sponsored, it's not someone I know in person, but she explained how to sit in the washroom properly to empty your bowel, especially if you have rectocele or cystocele or any pelvic floor muscle problem or pelvic organ prolapse. And she's really great, and she's actually specialist in this type of problems. I cannot recommend any better. One of the most important things that helped me so much to go through the healing process and rescuing my pelvic floor muscle wellness and the reversing as much as possible the grade. Right now the cystocele I have is, as the last appointment, it was about 3 months ago, it is grade 1, and the rectocele it's between 0 and grade 1, so that's really good. It's to lose unhealthy body weight. I'm still working on that to bring my body weight to the optimal body weight, losing a lot of an unhealthy load on my own body. Not only like it's like I'm carrying something heavy all the time, but it is part of my body, and it is unhealthy body weight. I was overweight sometimes after I gave birth for my first child, and similar situation after my second child. And I'm working on getting healthier in terms of my body mass index, the ratio of my muscle mass versus the fat mass. It is really one of the best things regarding my pelvic floor muscles and my mental health, and feeling happy inside my body, feeling happier and lighter inside my body. One of the things that really affected either directly or indirectly on my pelvic floor muscle, especially about the rectocele, is the portion size. I struggled sometimes during the past 6 years to readjust my portion size again. First several reasons. I don't want to go through them in this episode because I want to talk more about what are the things help me to recover and help myself to improve my pelvic floor health, to control the portion size. When you eat the proper small portion size that's enough for you daily on every meal you eat, it's helped the digestion to be better and help processing your bowel movement better. When you eat too big portion, even if it's not too frequent, it's really bad. The days I eat too frequent or I eat too big portions, even if I eat once but it's too big portion size, the bowel movement never get happy with that. So it's really important to have a good control of your portion size and what to eat properly and what is really what you really eat and why you choose this, and if that really make you happy and healthy. You need to recall your eating habits and how frequent you eat and how big every time you eat. Kegels. I cannot stress on how important to practice Kegels. Actually, I learned Kegels long years ago when I had sometimes during my master's. I went to a doctor and I told I cannot hold my pee and I had the same infection again and I had to go to take an antibiotic. And the doctor told me, you need to do Kegels because you seem that you have incontinent grades, one of them, but did not really explain to me which grade it is, why I have incontinent, what's really, like, I thought my muscle doesn't hold my pee, but it's not all about just the opening of your muscle or the size of your bladder. I don't know, like, there were some misconceptions there. But when I saw my physiotherapist and my gynecologist after my second pregnancy, they explained very well to me, and I could make connection between my situation, my knowledge background, and what they are saying, it to make sense and really understand myself, because the more I understand my body and what's going on, the more I can help it. One of the things they were not well explained to me when I saw a doctor regarding the infection, where I had again burning. I feel very hard to go to the washroom and frequently, but I ended up not being just a few drops that burn me even when they leave my body. And he told me to do Kegels, but what is Kegel? What are Kegels? They were not really explained well, but I am not going to explain how to make Kegels here because I don't feel I'm qualified enough to teach you how to do Kegels properly. But as simple as I can tell, Kegels is more like you are assuming that your anus is like a flower and it is opening and then closing. This is the best explanation I can provide you to do Kegels properly. And you can watch, so there are some very good video resources on YouTube explain Kegel, and the best if you also see a specialist and train you to do it as I have done. So I would like to go here at the end of my video and highlight the most important things that really helped me to recover, and I'm still in the recovery process, is to maintain a healthy body weight. Try to lose the unhealthy weight on your body as soon as possible in a healthy way. Control your portion size and the frequency of your eating, and even if you eat little or very small portions but too frequent, it will also not be good on the whole of your digestive tract and the digestion process and the bowel movement at the end. Try to drink enough water every day. Take your daily fiber intake. Try to take always enough fibers and reach your goal of your daily intake of fibers. Work out, especially Kegels and abdominal muscle strengthening and tuning workout, that they are friendly with hernia, even if you don't have hernia, on your pelvic floor muscles, even if you don't have any of fructocele or cystocele or any pelvic organ prolapse. You need to protect your body, especially when you are preparing for getting pregnant, during pregnancy and postpartum. Carrying heavy loads, it should be limited. If you are a person like to work out with weights, try to do it wisely, mindfully, and gradually, not just jump to the very heavy weight and force yourself to do, because the more you exert forces in a wrong way on your body, that will cause damage more than a strengthening. We came to the end of this episode. I really hope that you get a good message from here and you are really aware now about the importance to check on your pelvic floor and abdominal muscle wall health, and if there's any problem that you need to talk, speak up, and see a health practitioner as soon as possible to help yourself. Yeah. If you like this episode, give it a like by clicking on the thumbs up button, share it with friends and family, write in the comments section what is your opinion, and if you have been through an experience similar to this, and if listening to what I have been through that helped you in a way or another. Subscribe to my channel, it will help me to give more, and thank you for watching. Take care and see you soon.